Einen wunderschönen guten Tag, liebe Freunde. Herzlich willkommen zu einem neuen Video hier auf meinem YouTube-Kanal und ein weiteres Interview auf Englisch. Dementsprechend wechsle ich direkt auf Englisch, um auch meinen Gast zu begrüßen. Hello, thank you very much for coming.
Hello, happy to be here.
Yes, first of all, happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Belated birthday.
Yes, one day belated, but still, I appreciate it. I'll take it.
Yeah, finally 18.
Yeah,
no,
finally, it's
you in
been
the
waiting
US,
so long.
right?
Yeah, I'm in the US.
So I have to say 21 because in Germany you are fully, you're coming full of age with 18. So.
Oh, nice. So that's the final.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah, finally an
So,
adult.
who are you?
My name is Drew Fawcett. I am a content creator and a freelance producer, shooter, editor around the gaming space, esports space in Los Angeles. So I've done a lot of behind the camera stuff, in front of the camera stuff. It's been fun.
And you're an avid Riftbound player.
Yes, very avid.
Yeah.
As you can see, I've got my Riftbound stuff right here, my new Unleashed vault that I just opened.
Oh, we have to talk about this in a couple of minutes.
Yes.
But before we start, my first question I want to ask everyone who's coming on the I wouldn't say show because I'm just doing interviews, but the first thing I want to ask you is how did you come to play Riftbound? Have you ever been playing TCGs, or was it just something because I know that you've done interviews in the esports community, so you are close to League of Legends, Riot especially, and then you see, oh, hey, let's try it out. How was it for you?
Honestly, I've been a big fan of TCGs since I think since elementary school. Like I played I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Was my main thing, and I remember when I was in middle school, I would go to locals like on the weekends, and I had another friend named Thomas, and we were both like middle schoolers, the youngest people there, like going up weekly tournaments. Like it was so fun. And then as I got older, I kind of like stopped playing Yu-Gi-Oh! As much. And then I like went to college and graduated, and then I started playing a little bit of Magic the Gathering. I used to work for a guy named Travis Gafford who does esports interviews.
I know.
Yeah, yeah. I was his like main producer, videographer for the last couple of years, and so he loves Magic. Like, he's really into Magic. I like Magic. I don't think I love it as much as he does, but I feel like.
he still owes me a commander round, actually, and I somewhere around here I have a token. I asked him if he could draw me a token in during Worlds Finals in London 2024. I still have it laying around here somewhere.
That's amazing. Nice. Yeah, he's a big TCG guy. But for me, I was like, Magic is fun. And I also played a lot of Hearthstone in the end of high school.
Sure.
I hit Legend, and then I like stopped playing because I was like, I won 100% of this, and it resets every month. So I'm like, I can't do this every month, but proud of myself. I'll move on.
You've done it.
Yes, exactly. I've done it. And yeah, so Magic was like, this is fun. I'll go sealed events. I think sealed events are really cool. Drafting is really cool. I hadn't experienced that before. But the idea of a League of Legends TCG, to me, I was like, that's my whole brain. Like, that's perfect. Yeah.
So how was it for you when you found out about Legends of Runeterra?
Thing is, Legends of Runeterra, I think visually and mechanically, didn't appeal to me as much. I mean, visually, I think it was the client was gorgeous.
Yes.
Like it reminded me of Hearthstone in that way. But I think like it was a bit too far from my experience with Yu-Gi-Oh! And Hearthstone. Okay. And it was like a little more complicated. And I do think there's something about physical TCGs that speaks to me. And I once like wrote a video essay about Legends of Runeterra for this YouTube channel, and we talked about like its rise and fall, and I did end up playing it a while, and it was like that kind of roguelike where you kind of now you build your deck. It's more of a deck building game.
The Path of Stars,
which I think is fun.
Or Path of Champions, I'm not sure.
Yeah, Path of Champions.
Path of Champions, yes.
But yeah, I felt like it didn't really click for me before then. And when Riftbound was announced, I was like, wait, this seems really cool. This seems like this could be like this could become my life. And then as soon as it like hit the stores, I was able to get a Victor deck, pre-con, and I was playing it, and I was immediately like, okay, this is for me. I love the mechanics. I love like it's like it to me is like Yu-Gi-Oh! Hearthstone and Magic had a baby.
Yeah, it's like
And
taking the best parts from
yeah,
all the trading card games you've been playing from throughout your
totally.
life. For example, this was something I was talking to a friend of mine as well, because the Daves, I call them the the Daves.
Yeah.
You can feel when you play the game that people work with it or for it, that had so much experience with all the different trading card games, which are not all
Yeah.
only Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh, because you have
Mm.
I think you have some mechanics from Digimon. You have some mechanics
Mm.
from Dragon Ball. You have similarities to Star Wars Unlimited. So for me, it feels like the culmination of all the good things which drew us in the past to play those games, and now you have it combined in Riftbound.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like all of that plus the League Riot IP,
Mm-hmm.
which for me is like, oh, that's amazing. Like
Likewise.
inherently I'm excited about, like a Victor deck, Diana deck,
Mm.
like Syndra's in the game.
Uh,
It's exciting.
and speaking about the game itself, what is the most
Mm.
or the biggest part for you, which is so appealing for you? Is it like the system of
Mm.
the runes and the deck separately? Is it the legend unit and the
Yeah.
champion unit, or can you even name something specific?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely love the mana system. I
Mm-hmm.
think the mana system or the rune system,
Yes,
I should
yes.
call it, because the fact that you have power that you can spend
Mm-hmm.
that impacts your curve, and you pull 2 runes per turn. That just allows it so you can like have a lot of micro decisions, like
Yes.
using a defy or something. That's gonna like give you an advantage. But next turn, if you need to hit 7 and now you're at 6, you've shot yourself in the foot. And so it allows for you to kind of plan ahead, or if you need to be extremely desperate, put yourself behind so that
Mm-hmm.
your opponent's also behind. Like I think it's a really cool incentive to play riskier or play
Mm-hmm.
less risky, and it's all you don't draw into lands. Like that was the thing about
Yes.
Magic that really hurt me. Is like sometimes I would just like, oh, I need a good top deck, and it's swamp,
Oh,
and I'm like,
yes.
okay, that's I just lose. Like
You,
that's
you either
tough.
draw only lands or no land.
Yeah, right. And then you're like, I just got like mana screwed, and so
Mm.
I feel like that doesn't happen with Riftbound. And when you do kind of screw yourself over mana wise, or if it's like, oh, I flipped 5 blues and no purples, that's like a very rare thing. But that's not going to make it so you can't play half the cards in your hand.
Yes.
That'll be like, okay, maybe you can't play the one that you really want to play.
Mm. But sometimes, for example, it happened to one opponent I was playing against. It happened at one point.
Mm.
He would win in his turn if he would have one red rune more, because he wasn't able to
Yeah.
play Falling Star. And for Falling Star,
Yes.
without Kaiser, you need 2 to recycle, for example, if you don't have a
Yep.
seal on the board. So I was lucky
Yeah.
that he has like 5 blues, but only 1 red, so he could not, or he was not able to
Yeah.
play the Falling Star.
Well, it's crazy because it's like I love that you could get to that position
Mm-hmm.
because you played a falling star last turn.
Yes.
Like because you used more of your red power in the past turns,
Mm-hmm.
like math wise, it just goes to the bottom. So like you have to wait longer before you see them if you're at low mana. And I had that happen to me. I was playing Ezreal. There's like that
Okay.
new Ezreal gust like tempo
Mm-hmm.
where
Mm-hmm.
he's just kind of you go in with sneaky and you're trying to gust things and just be like really fast and aggro. And I found that I was using so many bellows breaths that right in the end I was like, I think I have game, and I looked down and I had 0 blue runes, and I had like played the bellows breath, and I was like, dude,
No
this is
seal, no gold, nothing.
yeah,
Uh,
exactly. I'm just out, and
okay.
like, but that's I could have counterplayed that, and I
Mm-hmm.
could have thought about that, but that's like a total learning experience. It's fun that you have micro scales that you should be worrying about, and if you hate it, play seals.
And that's a cool thing about Riftbound or TCG in general, because at one point you develop tunnel vision for certain things,
Hmm.
and if you fall down or if you lose a battle because of this, then you rethink your deck strategy again. You say, hey, I could have won if I wouldn't have done this and that and that. So that's why you see a lot of people playing with a notepad by their side, because they not only count their holding or scoring points, but they also write down, hey, I scored with, for example, holding because I had this and this, and the opponent was not able to destroy it because I countered it. It's a lot of typing, a lot of writing, but hey, people get better because of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, have you been following Atlanta?
I have been. Yeah. So, yeah, Atlanta was exciting.
What was for you the biggest surprise during the regional qualifier? Because, to be honest, if you ask me, I would say the final.
Yeah. I mean, the final was super exciting. I was excited by Set making an appearance in the top 8 because I don't think I'd seen that. Azir, or was he in the top 8 last time?
I am not sure. I was thinking about Bologna. But no, Azir was. Oh, yeah. I only know that Azir was playing against Sean Yi in the finals in Lille.
Yep.
But I'm not sure about the top 8.
Yeah, I don't remember the top 8. Maybe there was a set. I remember seeing that there was a good split among the top 8.
More or less, I would say, because you always have your Dravens. You always have your Dravens.
Exactly, but like in comparison to what we'd had before, and like what I think, especially like the early days when we saw like the Chinese city regionals or the city challenges, and you'd see like, man, Draven is winning every single thing.
Mid-range, miracle, like, whatever.
Totally. I think like I really liked that Riot did those bans. At the time, I was actually against bans. I was like, I don't think we need it, y'all. Like, we can solve the format. I think like we haven't done enough testing. We haven't had it long enough. But what I noticed was, as soon as they banned the cards, right? And I played Ezreal, so
a cold shot,
the cold shots that they hurt.
God, on fight or flight as well.
But fight or flight, right? Yeah,
I miss it. I miss it
love
dearly.
Teemo, so
I miss it dearly as a Kaiser player.
I do miss it.
But as a Kaiser player, Kaiser player, I only miss Reaver's row.
Yes, and Dreaming Tree, right?
Yes.
Did you play
Dreaming Tree is for Irelia, more or less, because
oh yeah, right.
It was the perfect battlefield for Irelia.
Yeah, you just get draw. But what was I saying? The bans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like it developed. I've seen people talk about this, like a set 2.5, where suddenly the meta is shaken up, and that to me as a player felt really exciting because I could like I built the Azir deck after that came out because I was like, oh, I have all these cards. Like, that's super exciting. I got to take my Ezreal deck and just like do a new angle with it. The Fiora deck that I have became more powerful, right? Like, I think the meta got shaken up in a way that, from a player perspective, because I wasn't playing Draven, I felt like, oh, this is actually, I think more of my decks have a shot. And so, yeah, seeing the top 8, he still had, I mean, there was like 3 Dravens, 1 Irelia, right?
3 Dravens, 1 Irelia, 1 Kaiser, 1 Annie, 1 Set, and 1 Ezreal. Because Alan made it to the semifinals again.
Yeah, Alan made it to the and which is sick because he faced Prismatism, right?
Yes.
Prismatism, is that his name?
Prismatic, I guess.
Prismatic.
I only say Prismatic because I cannot say his full name is Prismaticism or something like that.
Prismaticism. Yeah, Prismatic. That's good. I watched that round and I thought it was really cool.
Yes.
Like, seeing Annie is fun. Seeing an Annie play, and then I'm a Ezreal fan because I liked Alan's list before, and when he won, I like net decked it and studied it and was like, how do I play this deck? So it was cool. Yes, Annie.
That's a foil, by the way.
For so long, she was. I'm seeing.
I draw it.
That's nice.
I pulled out of the Nexus Knight pack, and I immediately gave it to my partner because she is only playing Annie, nothing else, just Annie.
Amazing. I mean, that's an upgrade. Boom! Instant rarity bump. That's great.
But she doesn't care much about the rarities. It's more me thing.
Me too. I'm trying to find the rarities of every common that I have. Just
we can talk about this in a minute because you were able to pull already.
Oh yes, I was. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but the semifinals, like, it was a crazy match.
Yeah.
And then coming into the final, which was like, I would say, and you may agree or disagree, but I would say it was the closest final we ever had.
I think so too.
Especially in the West, at least.
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of the top 8 matches were extremely close. Probably that would take my surprise the most, because it felt like every match that I watched, we'd go to game 3 it could have been anyone's game, and then it's just down to like how these people play. It felt rare to me that it was like, oh, dude, he just has all the answers. He's fully blown out. This was a stomp. And yeah, that last turn, like I think that last turn has been studied like crazy, just because I think the Draven player, he said that he thinks he like floundered it, like he could have done it, and no one's expecting the Rengar, like you just.
Yep. Yeah,
but don't expect playing it around it. Yeah.
I mean, the deck list is known. So the deck list of the top players
true.
is known. So, but then, I mean, especially the funny thing is about Rengar, it utilizes a mechanic which is now being focused on in Unleashed. And it comes out. I mean, we have two cards like this in Origins and in Spiritforge. I mean, it's Shen and Rengar. So, and I mean, and then you play Rengar. You have I guess if I recall correctly, he had exactly the rune amount he needs to play Rengar. Yes. And I mean, and he was even sitting there like this, and was like, and then and then he played it, and he was like, does he have an answer? Because his opponent had a lot of runes open. But he had nothing he could play, and this is like
no answer.
Crazy. It was amazing.
It was a nail biter. Yeah, absolutely. Super exciting to see, and I think it's really cool to see these consistent names like Prismatism. I remember the guy who played Set, I believe, had top 8 as Draven before.
I don't remember
like that.
I only know Alan because Alan is like everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And Alan, but these names that like we've seen in the top 8, I love in a card game, like in Yu-Gi-Oh, Jeff Jones was like the guy, and then Jesse Cotton. There were these guys who were just like, they would consistently top, they'd consistently win.
In Magic, I can tell you at least one of the most famous, maybe the most famous player was Kai Budde. May he rest in peace. May he rest in peace. He deceased this year, unfortunately. But what he left for a footprint in the Magic community transcended over Magic. So and beyond. Yeah. So I what you mean? I really like this, and I would love to see these players emerging. Maybe of course I always reach for the stars when I say, hey, I want to see a TCG faker, but it's really amazing to see how these people grow, how these people are invested in Riftbound. I mean, Riftbound brought us together, and we don't know each other. Maybe we scratch each other a centimeter when it comes to League of Legends editorial work, but otherwise we would have never talked about, I guess.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I'll also say like the community of Riftbound has been so amazing. And like I'll go to these locals, I'll go to Nexus Nights, and everyone's just like so excited to be playing the game. Like it's also crazy because I always think like I spend so much time watching Riftbound videos. I think about Riftbound all the time. I'm like I've got an L desk and this half is just Riftbound.
Guilty as charged.
And yeah, right. But then I talk to people and I'm like, you play more Riftbound than I do. That's crazy. like we are all like fanatics and obsessed with the game, and it's so fun to just talk to people about like their opinions and what they're playing and why they're playing it.
A cool thing, for example, best example is I play in Munich, as I'm from Munich. I play in the local game stores as well, and I met a couple of guys just twice now. So two nights, 2 Nexus nights, and next Saturday, for example, I say, hey, I'm going to nearby city to play the pre-Rift events. Is anyone interested to join me? Because I'm driving there. And you say, hey, I would like to join. I say, on another one, so 3 people, and I don't have any connection with them outside of Riftbound, but because we're playing Riftbound, it's like, hey, we can talk about this, we can talk about that, and of course, Riftbound is always the main topic, but I met so many people during Riftbound because we have to interact with each other. It's not like, okay, you can play TCG Arena, you can play Rift Atlas, which is nice to train and everything for brewing. But when you play it for real, when you're sitting opposite of each other, it's like you have to talk, you have to communicate. And a lot of people I met amazing, and another guy who's now a friend of mine, who's joining me to the trip to Utrecht. So we will make a road trip to Utrecht, stay there. We share a flat together, and then after 4 days or 5 days and 4 nights, we will travel back home together. So that's, I mean, I never had this experience before when it comes to my hobbies in this regard, because of course video games, esports is nice, but due to the nature of it being, how do I say that? Due to the nature that you have still a display in front of you, like a certain wall which separates you from the player who's maybe sitting next to you or in a different room. And with Riftbound, you have when you play it, you have to sit opposite each other.
Totally. Yeah, I think like that's also something I like Hearthstone because you can just kind of like chill and listen to music and click around, but you don't get that one-on-one conversation. And that's probably something I really missed when it came to Legends of Runeterra, because if I'm playing someone in Legends of Runeterra, but when it was more PvP and someone's playing like a Zed deck, I can't talk to them about Zed, you know? If someone is playing, I'll play a Jax player at Nexus Nights and I'll be like, whoa, you're playing Jax, like why are you playing Jax? You know, because it's like I haven't played against many Jaxes, and they're like, I played League 5 years ago and I was a Jax main. I'd only ever played this character, so as soon as it came to this game I was like, I'm playing it. And that's so fun. Like suddenly we have a jumping point. I'm like, oh, top laner, you know, we could talk about League or we can talk about the game. Like there's just so much community that comes from a pre-existing IP. Or if someone even doesn't know, they're like, I honestly don't know League of Legends. I'm just here because I like trading card games and I like the mechanics. And my friends play this. And you're like, whoa, like you've got such a world to explore if you're interested, right? Like,
I mean, you can
so exciting.
Alone Arcane, you can watch Arcane, you can read the books, you can play the games, not only League of Legends, but you can also play Wild Rift, TFT. You can play Valorant even if you want to. You can play. You can play. What was it? You can play the indie titles like the Rune King, Convergence with Echo.
All the Riot Forge games.
Yeah, Riot Forge. I forgot about it. But yeah, so I mean, for us, awesome. for the two of us, it's like amazing because we come into this universe and we know everything, and it's amazing to see. For example, the same feeling you had with Jax is for me with Caitlyn. As soon as there's a Caitlyn legend, I don't care if she's bad, if she's the best, if she's like guarantee, I will play her, because I have so many memories, so many emotions. I connect with this character. She was the AD because I played mostly AD carry. She was the AD carry I played the most with my best friend. I met her mainly because of League of Legends, and so it's many years, but when Caitlyn comes out, I will play Caitlyn. And I always find a way in my interviews to talk about Caitlyn.
Great. Yeah, there's the one Caitlyn card, and it's like, okay, you know, it's set one. You can kind of play anything and be like, maybe this is fun, but
the first deck I built
was fun.
The first deck I built was with 3 Caitlyns, and it didn't work at all.
Yeah, you can try to force it, but it's just not, because but still cool. She's in the game, right? You can keep onto the card, you know, hold on to it, and then eventually the deck will come out, and I'm excited. I also think like the way that they designed the decks from Legend, Chosen Champion, and
Runes or
Signature Spell.
Signature Spell, yes.
The Signature Spell. Yeah, you can fully emulate how that character plays. Like my favorite one, I think, or one of my favorites is like Zenith Blade, where you stun a unit and you move one of your units to it, and like that's just what Leona does.
Yes,
you know, that's exactly what Leona does. And because you're playing with Leona Legend, you also get to buff whatever like a unit on your field. Just really cool, like Arcane Shift being the E.
It's really nice,
you know, and you do damage,
and then you
like,
put out
that's
the Q.
So cool.
Yeah,
Totally. It's like, to me, it feels like there are like the ways that they can express these champions in a true gameplay level, not even like a flavor level, but a gameplay level. Like that's really exciting, and I think that gives players who already know the characters a really awesome sense of like satisfaction. And I also think it gives a lot of opportunity for people who haven't played League of Legends to, like, if you play League of Legends after you've been playing Riftbound, after you've played Leona or something, and you can be like, oh, this is like the card, this is like Zenith Blade. Like that's a fun experience. I
mean, best example, for Unleashed now, if you're talking about resemblance of the characters of the champions, look at Jhin. Look at Jhin. You have a lot of interaction with his 4-number counting in his legend unit, his His champion units both are cost 4. His signature spell, Curtain Call, has 4 possibilities, or 3 possibilities, or 4 possibilities to repeat itself. So, I mean, there's so much stuff going on, which is so flavor-wise amazing.
Totally. Yeah. Really cool. I'm excited to just see like what they do in the future.
But speaking about Unleashed, before we conclude our interview, I would rather ask you a couple of questions about Unleashed. So you've been able to open a couple of cards yet.
Yes, I've been fortunate.
Before we talk about this, my favorite question is do you have like 3 or 4 favorite cards from the whole set? You don't have to play them. You just like them flavor-wise. You like them design-wise, or do you like them just because they resemble the character you like and to play?
In Unleashed or all over Riftbound?
And in Unleashed.
Awesome. Let's think. I mean, I really like Mirror Image. Obviously, I love LeBlanc, and so I like. I was a mid laner when I played League of Legends. I still will play League, but like when I played the most, I played like LeBlanc and Syndra and Sylas. They were like my top 3. And so as soon as LeBlanc was announced, I was like, I need to be playing this. And I think that it's a really fun mechanic to like make a reflection that that gets the death knells and everything. And I really like the Karthus engine. But the fact that Mirror Image is just like, hey, this is a better version of your passive as your legend, and you get to have it, and immediately it's ready, and you can play it. It reminds me of how like Void Rush is kind of just a better version of Rek'Sai's legend, and it's very exciting. I like Mirror Image. Also, I'd say, I mean, I think Baron as an idea was crazy. Like, I think that was the first one they showed, and they're like 3 battlefields. Like, what the hell? What are we like? I think it blew a lot of people's minds.
Yeah. But it makes sense flavor-wise again.
It does. Yeah, you have a Baron Pit, right? That's great. And then that also changes the dynamic of certain games. Like, whoa, you can score 3 points a turn. That's going to change things up. I will say I think it's broken, and I have it right here. I got the alt art.
The Elder Drake. I really want to have it because I since Severe came out, I want to build a Dazzling Aurora deck with it.
Yes, I mean Baron and Elder Drake, so crazy. I had just played. I was playing some TCG Arena, playing some Unleashed with my friend, and I played Poppy, and having a Rift Herald Elder Drake combo is so crazy because even if you don't have Aurora and you play Rift Herald and you kill the Rift Herald, you get to play the Elder Drake from hand, and then you can even play it on your opponent's turn if you sacrifice it. So it's like just really crazy combos there that I think Elder Drake is probably going to be problematic.
I mean, especially after Errata today. Have you seen Errata today?
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God, I saw that, which is crazy. Oh yeah, and I was wondering too. I mean, that's crazy because a 2 might unit can just crash into 2 units, and that's gonna
it works
change how going wide works. I think
it works. Yeah. It works a lot like Death Touch, for example, in Magic, because you can if you have a Death Touch 1 unit or 2 unit, and there are 2 units in the opponent's side, and you can just go in 1 damage here, 1 damage there.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I feel like it didn't need the buff. Like I feel like Elder Drake was pretty strong before. I'm interested in seeing how that looks, but I was also wondering, with that new rule, Scuttle Crab, how it has 0 might.
Yes, but on Scuttle Crab itself, it's written on it that they can for example, other than the Scuttle Crab can conquer a battlefield, can hold the battlefield.
And hold.
But it was before that, because for example, you can there were certain cards freezing touch maybe, which you can repeat, so you give
you can do you give minus, you can even go to negative.
Yes, but your unit doesn't die until it at least gets 1 damage, so I think it works the same way.
Yeah, that makes sense, because if you swing in, let's say I have a 1 might unit, and I swing into 2 Scuttle Crabs, I was like, before when I was playing like 2 days ago, I was like, well, it makes sense that you need to assign 1 damage to the 0 might, because you need to assign damage to it doesn't just automatically die. I guess that still continues to be true, because you can't, even though like technically you reach like what would kill it, what would kill it has to be 1. It's not just like
you cannot
swing in with a 0 might.
Yeah, currently you cannot split 1 might. You cannot make 0.5 or 0.5. So you have to fully invest 1 might, and if you have only 1 might and there are 2 0 units, then you would still kill 1, but the other
you
one
have to assign 2. Yeah. And if you had 2, then you could assign 1 per each.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is how I understood.
Okay. Yeah, I think so too. I was wondering if that new rule changed, but I don't think it did. So Baron, Mirror Image, Elder Drake, these are all pretty broken.
Champion-wise?
I will say, champion-wise, I think it's hard because I think the most broken is probably Vex. Oh, you know what?
Oh, she's super broken.
Vex is super broken, but I forgot this card. This card is crazy. Hui. Hui is insane. I've been playing with it, testing with it. You move around, and I've been playing it in, I played it in Teemo and Diana.
Mm-hmm.
You move it around, and if you have a Ride the Wind, it's just insane. Or if you have that battlefield that when you play something there, you can move another unit back.
That's a new one, right? That's one of the new ones.
Yeah, that's a new one. Yep. And that card is busted because you discard and then you draw and then you discard.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on what you discard, you either like ready up 2 runes, give it might, or draw. And if you have a bunch of spells, like Diana just plays a bunch of spells, that just means you get a full +1 every move. Mm-hmm. You draw, discard, draw. So you're +1ing, and then if you move multiple times per turn, because it's like Call Chat, right? It's the same theory of like this card is dangerous because you can +1 just by using it, and if you do multiple,
And it's a better working Twisted Fate. I really want to see a Twisted Fate working. I want a Twisted Fate scene.
Absolutely.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I think Twisted Fate as a concept, that's kind of like what in theory it should have been.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think. Especially because it's like you can't use yellow.
Yeah,
so
we need a free color legend unit for that.
Yeah,
I'm sure we get
which
one.
Would be cool.
I'm sure we get one at one point.
Totally. Yeah, in next set they're doing the opposites, so you'll have like a purple, yellow. Yeah, but I think Hui has to be my last pick, just because I was playing with it and testing with it, and I was like, oh, this is like the key to this deck. And this feels like an insane way. And maybe it's overhyped at this point because if I'm against, I just get Void Seekered and I cried. I cry. But like, I think right now, Hui is busted.
I can see that. Let's see. I mean, this time it's also Unleashed is the last set before we get the same release calendar or same release date with the Chinese players.
In tandem.
And this is something I'm really looking forward to, because I think with Vengeance we will see so much more variety in decks. Because of course, people will build. For example, when I build a deck, I always look at first what is successful, what works, why is the deck working, why is this mechanic working with each other. For example, I was playing against a Pike deck, and I thought like, okay, Pike, but he was moving around like crazy, using his units to put them back to the battle to the hand in the battlefield, and removing all the cards from my hand, so I had nothing to play. So it's really crazy to see that, and I guess with the same release date. As a Chinese player, we will see a lot more crazy stuff.
Yeah. I think that the same release date, like I've enjoyed this aspect of like, oh, we get the hype to see like what is going on in China, like what's doing well. But I think then you go into the new set with an idea of what's already strong.
Yes.
And I think it's very exciting to think that like we as everyone except for China, any like English speakers. Do you know if French is coming out at the same time?
Yes, 28th of May, if I'm correct. I don't want to lie. But at the end of May, we have the French version, which as a German I don't like. No.
Hey, and you're entitled to your opinion.
I'm half French, so it's okay.
Okay. Oh, that's perfect. Oh, good. Then you can get away with that. But yeah, I think that the idea that we can at the same time be experimenting and finding what's new and what's fun. Hopefully that even means that the meta is even more varied.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Like in the beginning, like when you saw the first set, China was like, Kaisa, this is the best deck, this is number 1 deck. And then in the US, we were like, hey, maybe Annie's cracked.
Yes.
Maybe Annie's insane, but it took us like till the end of the rotation, almost to the end of the rotation, to discover that. And I think in part it's because everyone was like oh my God, like Kai'Sa is destroying everyone in China. I want to pick this deck up versus being like, okay, from the get-go, what seems strong, but also what can we just experiment with? And like without any proof before, I think a lot of people are going to jump to decks that aren't necessarily the more popular ones.
Yeah, that's what I'm really looking forward to, because I like when people come to Nexus Nights and they have still a Lux deck. They have their they have their Garen decks. I have yet to encounter a Garen player, but I mean they out there. They're out there.
Garen is so tough because it's like, how are you ever gonna use this legend?
Okay, this is the only big and the only criticism I have about Unleashed. Why do you?
Okay.
Of course, it is jungle centered, and I understand it makes sense that you put Yi in it. But why do you give Yi, who has a arguably great legend unit, a second one, and Garen, who is like his own tier, which is so bad nobody really plays it, that he has to wait for a second legend unit, which you can actually play. That's something I don't understand. It's something I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that it's multiple Yis, to me, I like the idea that you're like, you're just gonna go farm in your jungle, and then you come out and you're strong. And so that, like, thematically, that's fun. I do think other junglers do that. You know, like, it's not like Yi's the only one. Maybe it's like, hey, look, we've done it once, so we can do it again. Like, oh, look, there's multiple Dravens. There's multiple Draven champions, multiple red Dravens. There are multiple yellow Fioras, right? Doing that in Spirit Forward was like, look, this opens up the potential for future stuff like this. So you go, look, there's multiple Yis, but it does feel bad when if you love the character of Garen or something, and you're like, I feel like I was given a baby deck, and I need a real one, and someone else is eating good, and they have more choices as well.
Yeah, the point is it's not only the legend unit, it's also the signature spell. You have now the possibility to have used different signature spells for a deck or for a legend, which is great. Who is big? It went in Lille second place, so with Yi, for example, and Yi was and was he not only also second place in Bologna, or was it Sevilla? I'm not sure.
It might have been. I'm not sure. But, Bologna. No, that last game was
Israel.
Is it that? Alan,
Misfortune. It was Misfortune.
Alan won that one, right?
No, it was Misfortune. Yeah.
It's Misfortune.
Yeah.
Okay. Because he had that crazy turn where he had to beat all those like large might units with his Raven Blooms and Vexes, and that's when I was like, I want to play this deck.
Yeah. But yeah, this is the only criticism I have about Unleashed. Otherwise, I want to have this deck. I want this cards. I want to play it, and I want to see what's going on to happen in Utrecht.
Yeah.
Do you have any plans for the upcoming tournaments to participate or play?
I'm limited by my fiscal ability to travel. Okay. I'm definitely going to go to the one when it's in LA, because that's where I'm based.
Sure.
I went to Vegas, which was super, super fun. And because I again live in LA, so I could drive up. Like, my friend flew over from Minnesota, and we drove to Vegas and stayed in a hotel for like 2 nights, and that was really fun. But yeah, I'm like, I wish that I could get some type of sponsor situation. But the scene is new. I'm excited. Hopefully, as time goes on, we can continually build, and like, my goal is also to be more flush with cash, so I can participate in these things on the side, and have these experiences. Just because, like, being in Vegas, being around it was so exciting and fulfilling, and to me, it felt like I didn't even play in the main event. I played the side events. My friend and I grinded out side events, and we got a metal volley bear, which is cool because we just like got a card. We were hoping all weekend to get one.
Nice.
And just to be around people, it was like a convention. You got everyone around you. I know people from my locals who are there. I know people who I've worked with who are there. Yeah.
I have a very funny story in this regards. The very first, I played the main event in Bologna. The very first match of the first day was with one person from my locals. So
oh, that's crazy.
We had a rough aroundly 2,000 players, and she was the first one I encountered, and it was actually very novelty that we finished in a draw. So, amazing. I mean, like, what are the odds?
Seriously, my friend from Minnesota,
Mm-hmm.
he flew to California. We drove to Vegas. When we played, it was a Super Nexus night.
Mm-hmm.
His first opponent was this girl, and he was playing Renata, and he like double time warped or something crazy, and she was like, and it was like, oh, and he's like, I'm sorry, I hope I didn't hurt her feelings. Fast forward a month, he's going to locals in Minnesota. He hasn't gone to locals in Minnesota before.
Mm-hmm.
She's there actively at the store. And it's like, what, in Minnesota, we're in a random shop from Vegas. Like, that is what are the odds? And now they're like friends. And
That's cool.
so it's like the little things like that end up happening are so exciting. It's like you can't plan that, you know?
Yeah, man. I think this is what we love about this card game stuff. We meet people, we connect with people, and hey, maybe we play with them in a Minnesotan local game store again.
Yeah. Miles away from the
Miles
tournament.
away.
Yeah.
Well, but thank you very much for taking time talking to me. It's been a pleasure, and
Absolutely.
I would love to talk to you in the future about Riftbound again.
Yes.
Especially after events and sorts. But first of all, thank you very much. And I hope you really find a sponsor. If anyone needs to sponsor someone, please go to Drew.
Please. Yes, I'm doing. Oh, I've got more content on the way. I'll just say I've been asking League of Legends players, pro players, what they think of different cards, and I have another wave of Unleashed cards that I've recorded and I'm going to edit and post.
Yeah.
While Unleashed comes out. So
yes,
stay tuned.
I
I
have the accounts down below, so just check it out if you fancy some new Unleashed card openings, which
yes.
I will do.
All right. Then thank you so much for having me on. This is
thank
awesome.
you very much. Looking forward to the future, and all the best to you and to all the people outside.
Yes. See ya.
Bye-bye.